Hi guys, today I wanted to talk about what sort of thing we are dealing with when it comes to Wetiko, or the pathogen, whatever you want to call it, the sickness that lies in our consciousness. Now, I was watching an episode the other day of Star Trek, and it's Star Trek The Next Generation. It's an episode in series 1 where Starfleet is being taken over by these creatures that go into the mouth and then end up living in the back of the neck, right? Nervous system, isn't it? And that got me thinking, and I thought, yeah, you know what? That theme shows up everywhere. It really does. It shows up in Stargate, it shows up in the X-Files, it shows up in another series done by the X-Files creator called Millennium. There was another sci-fi series set in the 50s. It shows up in that. It's all over the place, that theme. And a lot of people might deduct from that Wetiko is essentially a force, an external force, like a demonic force that comes in and takes over. But from my personal observation, that is not the case, because what happens in the scenarios that I've just described, that I've just mentioned, what happens there is that this external full consciousness enters the body and supplants the consciousness that is in situ there. So it doesn't invade that consciousness, it pushes that consciousness out of the way and takes possession of the body. So we're talking about possession then, really. And when it comes to Wetiko, I don't find that to be the case. It does not invade our bodies and take over. It's not like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. But it literally lives within our own consciousness. Now, if you think about the human body, right, the human body is riddled with pathogens and with viruses, retroviruses that lay dormant throughout our lives, throughout our body's life cycle, short as that may be. Sometimes those viruses, of course, awaken, as it were, they awaken and then we become sick. So could it be that Wetiko was always part of our consciousness, but latent, as it were, and something woke it up and it became active? I mean, it's been a really intense couple of days, actually. It's been full on, really full on, and when it gets like that, when it gets like that for me, I often find that it's like that for a lot of people, because I pay attention and I notice, I see that in the field, as in the external world, all kinds of weird shit starts happening, and there's all kinds of people getting very agitated, very reactive, very projective and whatnot about the most ridiculous stuff, actually. And nobody brings it back home. Nobody does that. Why is it that so few people, and I'm not talking about NPCs here, people, I'm not, because they don't have consciousness. I'm talking about souled people. Even people that I know full well are souled, but they're not spending time really observing themselves. Now, if we want to know what exactly Wetiko is, we need to observe. We really have to. It's the only way. We have to be incredibly meticulous and incredibly determined, and we have to observe it, and we have to journal, we have to keep notes, and we have to be brutally honest with ourselves as well about what's going on in there. It's the only way, people. So what it does, obviously we know that trauma is the gateway to awakening Wetiko, and it may be that there are varying degrees to Wetiko awakening within a consciousness, maybe depending on the amount of trauma somebody's been subjected to. A lot of people that were severely traumatized become sociopathic. That's very, very common, and that is